travelers, and welcome to another episode of Tales of Teyvat, a Genshin Lore Podcast. Last week, we got mysterious with Yelan as we trekked through Leeway and tried to gather intel with her. This week, we're gonna go with another boots-on-the-ground person, but more of a motherly figure as we talk about Thoma.
Are you looking for subservience? Maybe a little swish, swish of a beautiful bouquet of feathers? Well, dust on over to our site, talesofteyvat.com, where you'll find a hot pot of visual ingredients that Tiff has knitted into a comprehensive sweater for all of us to wear.
While you're on our site, check out our past episodes and seasons, artist spotlights from the community for every topic, and some other goodies.
Finally, feel free to email us at talesofteyvatpod@gmail.com to let Albedo know what you thought of this week's episode and what topics you'd like to see in the future. Additionally, you can let Albedo know what you thought of Tales of Teyvat by giving us a rating wherever you listen to your podcast, so other suspedos and chalk-like creatures know whether or not they are welcome here. Additionally, travelers can feel free to check out our Ko-fi, where you can buy us a cup of coffee, or check out our merch shop that features no twink tank thong still. Still.
Yet.
There'd really have to be a strong petition for them. And a guarantee of like 1,000 cells.
Okay.
You know what to do, chat.
If you can guarantee that you'll spend money on thongs, I can inventory them. But I don't want them.
I mean, at this point, I want one.
No! Oh my god. Brandon, your birthday's coming up. Don't speak too loud. Thoma's gonna be questioning everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I'm gonna get it for Thoma, so.
I think appropriately, I had Hot Pot for the first time. And then we were talking about Thoma's Hot Pot. I can finally understand. Not that I couldn't before. I understood the principles of Hot Pot, but I finally had Hot Pot. Yay.
Let me tell you, Tiff did not put any cake in her hot pot. I was there. She was responsibly hot potting.
Yes. It was delicious.
What would you give hot pot out of like a 10?
I'd give it a 10.
Wow.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Wow.
The place that we went to was delicious, and all of the little ingredients were on a revolving conveyor belt because that makes things 12 times better.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it, and it tasted fantastic. Like, I kind of was like, oh, can I go back now?
There's a conveyor belt cheese place, and I think it's in
What?
London.
Oh,
And I want to go so bad, where you just like pick cheese off the conveyor belt.
That's wild.
I want all my food delivered to me on conveyor belts. I went to Adobe Max one year out in LA. They always have like some crazy party, and it's like crazy shit. And one of the things was a conveyor belt of desserts, but they were all like not freeze dried. What's the ice called?
Dry ice?
Folks. Yeah, dry ice. So then when you would eat it, your mouth you look like a dragon.
Oh,
It was kind of cool.
interesting.
But it was delivered on a conveyor belt, so that was one thing. And then two, it made me have to do some party tricks. Even better.
Even better. We love a party trick.
Yeah.
Well, Tiff mentioned hot pot, and that's because Thoma is one of the hot pot champions of Teyvat. Or I guess he is the hot pot champion of Teyvat.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's trying to win it.
Thoma is.
So nobody has been able to dethrone him.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to dethrone someone when you have Ayato always giving him sus foods to begin with. So, like, travelers, what makes Thoma a hot pot champion is that he will eat anything put into hot pot. And it's really devastating, honestly.
I mean, anything Ayato wants to put into Thoma's mouth, he will just take it in willingly.
Including an aventurine thong.
Mhm.
This is going to be the whole episode of innuendos. Oh, yeah.
What were, like, your guys' first thoughts on Thoma as a character? Like, I was, like, so excited to meet him. I thought he was so cute. And then Brandon was like, back off, bitch. And I was like, ah!
Well, I remember him being advertised by Hoyo. I feel like he's the first character I remember being advertised, and I feel like he's the anti-child,
Mm.
where they were like, yeah, we know we fucked up with Childe, but here's the other one who's like good and like nice.
Wow. And still ginger.
I really thought that he was going to be like a 5-star, and I was a little disappointed that he was a 4-star. And then I'm like, y'all are going to make him a maid? Really?
The housekeeper. Let's get it right.
Secret spy.
a maid.
I mean,
Yeah, I think him being like the anti-child is kind of funny because when I first saw him, I had a hard time going, wait, is this child? And even like now, like sometimes I see some artwork and I'm like, I'm confused for a moment. I always have to look for his little headband thing because I'm just like, wait, is that child or is that Thoma? I can't tell.
Yeah.
Which might go more to my bad eyesight than anything else, but you know.
well, and let me tell you, I could tell the difference.
Of course you can.
Yeah. How did you feel?
Playing the games, when I was doing the Archon line, like I did all these pretty close together because I think when I started playing, Inazuma had just started. So I like, Child broke my heart, Zhao saved my life, I rebounded with Zhao, and then Zhongli was like, all right, bye guys, like go to Inazuma. And then I show up and here's the doppelganger. It's beautiful. He's nice to me. He's a sweetie. He likes animals. I mean, there was a lot of wins here. I also like Thoma is just such a likable character right off the bat. He's not a character that you're suspicious of at all. Although I feel like I might have been a little suspicious just because of Childe, honestly. I was like, I have been betrayed. I don't know who's who.
Do you remember the ads for him?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I feel like that must have been like right as I started playing and I wasn't really getting a lot of content pushed my way.
No, that makes sense. I feel like he was sort of debuting like right at that time where people were finding out about Childe.
Yes.
And like they knew that everyone loved Childe, like everyone thought Childe was like husband material. And they were like, well, let's do it over and do a real husband.
Do you think like the Hoyoverse writers like Dawe, like they started to get worried about us? They were like, oh, they think this guy is house husband material?
Yeah.
He's like trying to kill people.
And then they overcorrected with Thoma.
Yeah, which, it's really interesting because according to, and these are old leaks, I know we don't normally talk about leaks, but they're old leaks, they don't matter anymore. But in old beta leaks of Thoma, he was like more of a fuckboy. And he was like rumored to be like kind of a jackass who was engaged to Ayaka.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like you're right. Like they were like, oh, they love this like this evilish guy. We can't do that again. Another evil redhead? Fuck.
Strawberry blonde demon? Twink energy? No.
Twink energy, yes. And also, I found like the whole beta idea of Thoma really interesting because if he and Ayaka were engaged, that would be our first like confirmed playable character romance by the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then we wouldn't have the date with Ayaka, which is epic.
Very true. Oh, no wet socks.
Oh, that would have been good. The wet socks. But what if we went on the date and then Thoma like fought her and was like, who you going on dates with?
Her? Oh, you mean Lumine?
No, Thoma fighting Ayaka, being like, why are you going on dates with other people?
Oh, I see.
Yeah. He's like, we're engaged, bitch.
That's something Childe would do, not Thoma.
Beta Thoma might have.
Beta.
Yeah, Beta Thoma, man. Beta Thoma thinks he's an alpha, so, he's got that energy.
Yeah.
But that kind of fits into what my headcanon is for those three. There's a lot of ships that go on with Thoma and Ayato. But in my mind, Thoma is with Ayaka, but Ayato is just that jerk of a sibling that's just like, let me see if I can get my sister's boyfriend and like tempts him. It's successful, but that's besides the point.
Tiff, that Ayaka has a voice line where she refers to Thoma as another brother.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Brother-in-law.
Brozoned.
Yeah, I mean, because if she calls him a brother, then I feel icky.
It's the only time that we've had romanceable characters referenced as brothers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the only time. Never.
Only time.
I feel like it's fine to just ignore it.
I mean, if Fiends could ignore the whole Tinyari Sino one, then I think
Why'd you have to label it?
I had to label it. I had to make sure that the people know exactly what we were talking about.
They knew. Everyone knew. They know when it comes to me what it is.
Well, just in case, folks.
Listen, it was a translation error.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
in your head.
No, a lot of people agreed that it was a translation error.
It was also said out loud where this
That's
is only
a translation error. Voice lines can be changed. Character Archon things cannot. So anyway, I'm all about the thruple, the bro thruple of Thoma, Itto, and Ayato, because Ayato calls both of them bro. He's like, bro Thoma.
Oh no.
You guys all think Aoife started bro. He didn't. Itto was first.
The original vocab demon is Itto.
Not a vocab demon. A vocab wonderful thing. Or lack of vocab. I don't know. Camaraderie.
Yeah, bro. I'm going to perfect that. So this way I just randomly, and you're going to be like, is that Kokoko? What?
Sure, bro.
What up, bro?
What were like your guys' thoughts on Thoma's outfit off the bat?
Oh, I loved it.
Did you think he was a yokai?
No.
Oh, there's theories of that?
Well, at first you don't know if his little crown thing is horns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought he was like a dragon man, like with like in the first like 20 minutes. Then I was like, oh, he seems. Well, then he starts to talk to dogs, and I was like, oh, is he? And then Goru shows up. I'm like, I don't know what I think.
I mean, after researching this, I'm kind of shipping Thoma with Goro.
What? Don't tell Tiff.
I mean, they love pets. They love dogs and cats.
I don't even know what to say to you right now.
It's fine.
I don't know why you do that to poor Thoma. But his art has a cute. He likes birds, cat. He's got no dogs in this picture actually, and I think it's like his birthday art, and it's one of the most adorable ones. And he's getting like, oh no, there is a dog. He's got a dog on his lap, and then he's got 2 kitties and a finch, and it's adorable. And one of the cats has a crab. Everybody has friends here.
He literally makes sweaters for dogs and beds for dogs and cats.
He's so wholesome.
I was gonna say, he might be the perfect man.
And Tarumaro, owner of the Komore tea house.
I love their relationship.
Yeah, Goro is sort of involved in that because Goro is the translator. So I love the idea that Thoma and Goro are like, oh, well, here's what's going on. And I love you. And here's a sweater.
I can't give it. I can't do it. Miss Hina, maybe.
I'm going to break you, Tiff. I'm going to break you into loving Goro.
No.
I feel like the Thoma ships are Thoma Ayato, Thoma Ayaka, Thoma Itto, Thoma Itto and Ayato, Thoma Goru, Thoma Yoimiya, Thoma D-Luke.
Are you just naming everybody?
Anyone else?
And I have seen the rare Thoma Jean.
Oh.
Thoma Traveler, Thoma Raiden Shogun.
No Raiden Shogun.
I do very much like the Yoimiya one, though, I have to say.
Oh, yeah, and they really sell you on it in, like, their voice lines about one another and stuff like that. And also, like, I think it's in the Arataki Rockin' for Life event.
Which one?
In the iridescent Arataki Rockin' for Life Tour de Force of Awesomeness event.
It sounded a little nonplussed.
In the iridescent Arataki Rockin' for Life Tour de Force of Awesomeness event, Thoma and Yoimiya are like, yeah.
I forgot what we were talking about now.
Thoma and Yoimiya are like 100% flirting with one another in that event, and it is so fucking cute. But we'll get there eventually. But yeah, Thoma D-Luke is actually like big ship, just so you guys know.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He has a voice line about him.
Yes. One of them has a voice line about the other, yeah.
But not the other way around, so it's unrequited?
Thoma has like a few voice lines about people from Mondstadt. He has one about Eula. He has one about Jean. I actually don't think he has one on D-Luke.
No, he does. Well, maybe it's not D-Luke personally, but he has some voice line where he's like, oh, the owner of Angel Share.
Oh, yes. He talks about it in his hangout.
Oh, yeah, in his hangout.
Yeah, because he
like,
wants to go
wish
meet
I
him.
knew him. Yeah.
Yeah, he says, yeah.
And I think the thing with Thoma, and this is actually a perfect segue. So Thoma is originally from Mondstadt, and he was raised there. His mom is a Mondstadtian, but his dad is from Inazuma. And eventually, Thoma comes to Inazuma. We'll talk about that in a second. So I feel like Thoma, for the Mondstadt people, is like a fleeting person in the wind, like a ghost in the breeze, so to say. But for Thoma, these are like the memories of home.
Yeah.
And he definitely has a big homesick feeling in him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think for him, they're fond memories of other people.
Yeah, I have a headcanon that his mother is in the spy network that we talked about last week.
Oh.
What?
Is that why he's with the Kamisatos? Because the Shumatsuban is like somehow connected?
Yeah, I do think that naturally drawn to people in the spy network, aka Ayato and D-Luke.
That would make sense.
But it's my own headcanon. We know nothing about his mother. Absolutely nothing. I think his mother is in the spy network. That broke his mother and his father up. His father went to Inazuma and then defected to Snezhnaya.
Oh, shit.
This is all headcanon.
My headcanon for Thoma's mom is literally that I named her Ingrid, and she's just like a really sweet old woman. And when Nat, my Genshin OC Nat, when she ends up in Mondstadt, she actually lives with Thoma's mom for a little bit while she gets her like feet settled in the Knights. Mm-hmm. And then she moves into like the Knights headquarters. And so she's just like a sweet lady who like misses her son. But I like yours much better.
She misses her son and her husband?
I don't know. I feel like they're divorced.
Both of them left her.
Yeah, but like one left temporarily. The other one left. I honestly could have been temporary too. It's not very clear.
Neither went back. Either way.
Well, there was a Sokoku decree, which seems to be pretty well known.
There's not now.
Yeah, but now Thoma's settled. Like I get
fuck his mom then. He's settled. He don't need to go home.
That's my decisions on most things related to mothers. So
fuck that bitch.
Yeah, fuck those bitches. Shout out to the good moms of Teyvat.
So just to like sort of explain the backstory of how Thoma ended up in Inazuma.
Thoma, his mom is from Mondstadt, his dad is from Inazuma, and they get married and they have Thoma, and they're living in Mondstadt somewhat happily from what we know. We don't really know what happens. I like to believe divorce era, but we don't know for certain. Thoma does, in a lot of his voice lines and in a lot of his like story write-ups, make it very clear that there is a difference in lifestyle between Mondstadt and Inazuma, and making Mondstadt come off much more happy-go-lucky, laissez-faire, where people from Inazuma are all about respect and like, following kind of in line. And so I wonder if the two of them ended up clashing, maybe over parenting tactics or something like that, or maybe the dad wanted to move back to Inazuma and the mom didn't want to go. Whatever it is, they end up apart.
We know that his father was very particular on the principle of loyalty and instilled that, within Thoma. So he grew up with this sort of like flazeda attitude of like, everything's fine. It's just chill vibes everywhere. But then his dad was like, loyalty. And so he kind of took that on, I think. Whereas his mother, we don't really know what's going on with his mother. And the fact that they split ways makes me sort of headcanon that his dad is like, I am loyal to Inazuma.
Yeah.
And the mom is like, well, I'm a spy and I work for everyone.
Unknown, though, for certain.
Yes, absolutely.
And so Thoma's dad leaves to go back to Inazuma. And Thoma gets really, like, upset. And his thought is that he feels bad that his dad is no longer going to be able to drink dandelion wine. Which, like, really? That's our worry right now?
Yeah. I mean, isn't that sort of just, like, the excuse to go visit him?
Yeah,
but you could have come up with so many other excuses. Like, dad left his retainer. I don't know. The dandelion wine of all things. Like, let me bring this booze 3 nations over.
You left your Crest white strips.
But I mean, it kind of makes sense though, because he says like, that his dad, I mean, we know what the wine industry is to Mondstadt. So, we would think that would be one of the things that and freedom would be like their biggest export.
My biggest export from Mondstadt's Albedo and Kaya.
But like we know that you can get it in leeway too. So, but obviously he went during the Sakoko decree, so it's not like he could ship it on over. But I think it was a good excuse for him to say, "Well, I'm just going to go see him temporarily." And my dad spent a lot of time at Angel Share, which again, he lived in Mondstadt. He became a Mondstadtian. He was an alcoholic. It just happens. Dad alcoholic. Bam. Caregiver. I will add in caregiver because of is it Herman? Who do you hate that drinks? And is
Diona's dad?
The one NPC.
Oh.
Mika's
brother. Yeah,
yes. Huffman. I knew it was an H.
I don't even know his name. I just know him as Mika's brother now.
Yeah. He has to take care of kids. He drinks. In Inazuma, they leave their children or offer them up to dead birds. In Mondstadt, they just go drink.
They leave them to dead birds. But we also don't really know when Thoma went to Inazuma. That is unclear.
So here's the thing. There's this weird part in the lore where
10 years.
Ayato, 10 years exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know where I was going. So 10 years ago is when Ayato and Ayaka's parents die. And then at that point, Ayato, well, I guess we don't know if it's at that point or sometime later, but we know that causes some political strife where people are like, who's going to be the next, head of the Kamisato clan. And Ayato is talking to Thoma and is like, this is going to be bad. Like, this is a difficult journey, a difficult road ahead. So if you want to peace out, now is the time. And that's when Thoma gets his vision as he sort of resolves to be loyal to the Kamisatos.
But now that means that the Sakoko decree has been going on for at least 10 years.
Nope. The Sakoko decree has only been going on for 1. We don't know that Thoma goes over during the Sakoko decree.
Oh, we just know that he capsized. So he could have sent the fucking wine in the mail. Karara.
Be nice. She's having a good day. Leave her alone.
Listen, it's only a matter of time until she's mad again.
True.
But that was going to be I thought that the timeline was based on this. I assumed that he was sneaking his way in.
No, the boat that he was in got overturned by a huge wave. And he ended up...
shitty boat.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't Beto's boat. Yeah. I'm sure it was like a little ring ding type thing.
But I bet it was Kokomi's wave.
Yeah, Kokomi knocked him off. She was like, my friend Goru here needs a love. So he decides to go to Inazuma, and a huge wave overturns the boat and he falls into the water. And at some point he drifts onto the beach and he's in Inazuma and he wakes up there and he's like, oh, all right. And he's kind of stuck there. And Thoma faces a lot of strife right off the bat of being like an outsider, not being from Inazuma. And eventually he finds his way to the Kamisato clan. And they take him in with pretty much open arms. It's very sweet. Ayato and Ayaka both see him as dear friends and brothers. Ayato says he's like the only person he truly trusts. And they both consider him a full member of the Kamisato clan. And as Brandon mentioned earlier, when shit started to hit the fan for the Kamisatos, Ayato went up to him and was like, listen, you should make your life easier and get out of here. And Thoma said, no way. Like, you guys took me in, you took care of me, I am here for you. And he stayed and he had his loyalty in check. His father would have been proud. But just so you guys know, Thoma has never found his dad.
Yeah, those aren't very big islands.
I mean, is his dad dead? Is he hiding?
Or he went to Snezhnaya.
Yeah, did he defect to Snezhnaya?
He said he went to Inazuma, but he was like, maybe I'm not staying here either.
Yeah, do we really know anything about what his dad's job was like?
I don't think so.
No.
Like, what did he do for a living? What did he come to Inazuma to be?
Well, he was from Inazuma, so he went to Mondstadt, which is a great time to spy, and then went back to Inazuma, but then didn't actually go back to Inazuma, apparently, because he's not in Inazuma, which Thoma found out after he got shipwrecked there, what's going on?
But did he find out that he's literally not there, or he just never found him?
Well, he never found him, but it's like, you would have found him after living there for that long.
Do you think Thoma is accepting the truth of that? Or do you think he's got like that wide-eyed, like, but maybe he's out there somewhere?
So this sort of dips into one of his hangout results, which is the dog on the beach, endlessly waiting for his master to return. And Thoma sort of has a feeling of, oh, I get this because I do the same thing. I also go to the beach, stare out at the waves, and wait for someone who will never return. And I think that's his dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think in that point he has that moment of kind of like, this is my life lesson type thing. But I just wondered up until that point, like was that actually the point that happened? Or, had he known all along, but was still looking?
I think that he's still looking, but as he builds this network, because it's very known that Thoma has a very large network of people in Inazuma that he can go to and that he can trust and that he can get intel from. And I think as he works more for the Kamisatos and he's building out this network of friends and intel gathering peoples, and he's getting nothing on his father, I think he's learning slowly but surely that his father is either dead, changed his name, like Thoma would have found out by now. And I do think Thoma is a little blissfully aware of that. Like he gets very homesick. Mm-hmm. He misses Mondstadt. I think he misses that carefree nature, but he feels too loyal now to the Kamisatos, and he feels like he is unable to go back. So he does his best to make other people who are outsiders feel comfortable and help them out and make sure no one feels like he did. And it's really sad.
But a little bit back though on the Inu Shushu, the dog on the beach, we have talked about him before in our Sayu Shimatsuban episode, because that story breaks my fucking heart.
Yeah.
Because the dude, nope, they didn't, you find out during the hangout that the Shimatsuban didn't know that the dog was still sitting there. They knew that the guy disappeared. So he was sent out on a mission and he just never came back. And the dog has literally sat there every day just waiting for him. And he won't leave. And once the Shimatsuban knows that he's still there, they take care of him. But he just sits and waits like a good boy. And he's a ninja. He's a ninja dog. He was technically a part of the Shimatsuban. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he just sits there in his cute little outfit, just being like, no, that dude's coming back. He's not coming back.
That's just Thoma.
Nobody's ever coming back.
Thoma waiting for his daddy.
No, not his daddy. That's Ayato. He's already there.
No, I'm his daddy.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I'm ready. Tell me more.
I'm ready to go to war with Ayato. You don't know how to appreciate your man, and I'm here to take him from you.
So, and then, he joins the Kamisato clan. He falls in love with B.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank
B,
you.
Prior to the Archon Quest there, Brandon steals Thoma away to Rito, where they go to Liyue and live their life happily ever after. And that's actually the end of the Thoma lore.
This has been a great episode. Bye, Thoma nerds.
So that's all headcanon. Sorry, Brandon. But so Thoma, he starts working for the Kamisatos, and he's a housemaid, basically. Although he's really considered the housekeeper of the Yashiro Commission's Kamisato clan. And he's also known as a fixer for all of Inazuma. He's a smooth talker, a sweet talker. People like Kujo-Sara want him to come and clean her house.
Yeah, she does.
When I hear fixer, I just think of Scandal.
Yeah.
The Shonda Rhimes show.
Mm-hmm. I think of Frozen. He's just a bit of a fixer-upper.
You both have such opposite ideas of that word. Yeah, I thought of, when I first heard fixer, I immediately went to the mop side of things.
Oh, no.
Fixer. Somebody who's got to clean up the mess. Mm-hmm. He's a fixer.
I'm like, he needs to be fixed.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're like, oh, yeah, but he goes around and we see that firsthand when we get there too, because we're stuck in Rito, and he's the one who's gonna help us get out and actually get into Inazuma, or at least try. He kind of was he's haggling with everybody and spending our money, just trying to get us to get some paperwork. But we see it later, and like he's very unassuming, so he probably works very well as that role because people don't expect that from him. They know and they fear him because they know in the shadows the sweet ones are always the ones to watch out for. And he's like, beating people up and Lord knows what, cutting people's fingers off.
Well, I love that he scares people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's sort of a good sort of juxtaposition of his innate qualities as like a social butterfly. Like, I feel like it keeps him from being one note. The fact that people are scared of him.
Yeah.
Like, he is very loyal, but he's also like, if you fuck with the Kamisatos, I will fuck you up to the point where people like don't mess with them because they're scared of Thoma.
Yeah. The people who aren't afraid of Thoma are the people who know that they're never going to turn their backs on the Kamisatos. You have like Itto, who's not afraid of Thoma, Yoimiya, Goru, Kokomi, like all these people who are like, he's freaking cool, man. And then you have people like Kujo-Sara, who's like, I think the Raiden Shogun is actually a little afraid of him, if I'm being honest. Like, I think A has a bit of a fear of him.
Really?
At least on a social level. Yes.
I don't know. If there's anything about his social level that she's got like an envious side of her because he can be so social so easy.
I think that scares her though.
No.
She has a very big guilty conscience for what went down during the Archon Quest with Thoma. And she basically is like, but I think like that's the Shogun's fault.
Yeah.
And that she should apologize. And we're kind of like, bitch, you're the one who let the evil puppet run around in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, I'll consider it. I think she has a fear of talking to him.
Nah.
Not that, yes. Not in like a he's gonna kill her type of way, but in like a he's gonna say stuff I don't want to hear. I think like emotionally, she has a fear of talking to the people that she's let down in her nation.
Yeah, I think though she's got like a separation between like that's the Shogun's thing, and I'm not gonna get myself involved into it too.
So she admits that she is quote unquote somewhat culpable for Thoma almost losing his vision, but she thinks that the Raiden Shogun puppet should be the one that formally apologizes. But then in that same voice line, she says, okay, fine, I'll give it some more thought, sort of implying that the traveler is challenging that idea of like,
as we should.
It kind of is your fault. You programmed your puppet and then disappeared, and your puppet did all these horrible things. So,
but yeah, that's a little bit about Thoma, and like we'll get more into some of his things, like his personality and things like that when we talk about his hangout. But that's the life that Thoma has set up for himself in Inazuma, as we get to meet him in the Archon Quest. And we'll keep our review of the Archon Quest pretty light. We've talked about it in our episode about the Raiden Shogun and in other episodes, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah.
But we first meet Thoma when we step off of the Alcor, and he's introduced to us as a business partner of Beto's. And Beto kind of is like, listen, I can't stay in chat. I got my son on board the Alcor, Kazuha, and he is a fugitive here. And I really can't risk him getting arrested right now. So we're going to go. But good luck. Hope you get to meet the Archon. Bye. And we get left with Thoma. And Thoma is the guide at first in Inazuma. He helps us get the paperwork we need to stay in Rito. He explains all this drama going on with like the outside merchants who are stuck now in Rito. And then we get wrapped up in some like merchant tax Crystal Morrow drama.
The International Trade Association.
Yeah, it's crazy because basically the Sokoku Decree, for travelers who forgot, is a law that A put in place that was basically no one can come in or go out of Inazuma. We sneak there, technically, on the Alcor, which I don't know how we snuck in on the Alcor, but we did. And merchants who end up in Inazuma, not knowing about the decree, they get stuck in the city of Rito, which is that first island when we arrive. And Thoma actually feels a lot of guilt. Not guilt, I guess. He feels bad for these merchants who are trapped here because he remembers the feeling of being an outsider. So he has made sure to go out of his way to become friends with the head of these like merchant guilds. And he goes out of his way to protect the merchants from getting like bullied as outsiders, basically. But yeah, we get wrapped up into a whole drama with this Crystal Morrow, and It doesn't really involve Thoma, so we're not going to talk too much about it. But once all this drama ends and we're done working with the guild guy, who's like technically Thoma's friend, Thoma tells us that he actually works for the Kamisatos and that Ayaka is waiting to meet up with him because she's heard about us and she really hopes that we'll be open to helping them stop the vision hunt to Kree. In which case, we're kind of like, listen, we're looking for our sibling. We really just want to talk to the Archon, but we'll think about it. And we agree to meet him at the Kamor tea house, and we say we'll consider helping him. Now, this is all a fucking trick, and we get wrapped up into more drama because, of course, our paperwork says that we can't leave Rito. Once we solve our paperwork drama with even more chaos and letter delivering and bullshit, we finally end up at the Kamori tea house. And this is when Thoma pretends to talk as the dog Paramaru. And we're like, yo, they got talking dogs in Inazuma. And then Thoma kind of pops up and he's like, JK, it's me. And we're like, oh, fuck you. You just made us do so much because of our paperwork.
And then Goro's like in the corner being like, really?
Thoma apologizes for kind of putting us through the ringer and testing us to see how dedicated we truly were to getting out of Rito. And Thoma explains the vision hunt to Kree to us at this point in a little bit more detail. And he asks us again if we'd be interested in helping out. And again, we're like, we don't know, bro. Calm down. So he takes us to the omnipresent God statue, and that is the statue where they're putting all the visions. As they collect them, we touch the vision, we get a headache, and Thoma's kind of like, what the fuck? You got a headache? Ooh. So we go off and we do a lot of shit at this point for Ayaka. He introduces us to Ayaka through a screen. It's like we're at confession. And Ayaka sends us on a whole bunch of like little errands to really show us what's going on with the vision hunt to Kree and to try to convince us and sway us. So we go off and we do all this shit and we return to the tea house where we're supposed to be meeting up with Thoma, but he's nowhere to be seen. And a few minutes after we arrive, Ayaka runs in and tells us that Thoma was taken by the Shogun and her goons to be the big grand hoorah and celebrate that he was going to be the 100th vision taken. And it's going to be this big public showcasing. And this gets us the video cutscene that makes me say the what a man, I need a man, all those songs, everyone needs a Thoma. Like, this was fucking hot.
When he was face down on the ground when they were trying to take his vision?
Yes.
Oh, geez. I was like, maybe I got the wrong one.
No, yeah. I mean, well,
she likes her men manhandled.
Of course. It does progress from there. Thoma is tied up in front of the statue and the Shogun is coming down to take his vision, and the Traveler, we don't take that shit. So we go right up to fight against the Shogun, and while we're attacking the Shogun, we get knocked on our ass. Thoma is able to break himself free, and he grabs us, helps us up, and then we run away together and like leap over this gorge together to safety.
I bet it was a gorge.
We can only hope it was a gorge. It was gorgeous. I was wooed. I was like, ooh. And then when Brandon was like, Thoma's mine, I was like, are we sure? Can we share? I think that was like the consensus. We were like, can we share him?
No, we cannot.
And you were like, go back to Albedo and your chalk. I don't even know if I met Albedo yet. Because like I was so stuck in the Archon stuff, you know? Because I did Albedo's story quest when Shadows...
You were collecting miso soup.
Oh yeah. My god, yeah, this is when I still have 2,000 miso soup on hand, ready to go. My goal is to have 2,000 of every menu item.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been like hardcore, like I have like 3,000 fish right now, so I can really make a lot of seafood dishes.
You had like 5,000 radishes too, right?
Yeah, I had 5,000 something radishes the other day. Tiff was like, why?
My thing with the food is I'm trying to be able to auto cook every recipe.
Same.
Yeah, me too.
It should an achievement, but it's not.
Yeah, it should be, right?
I'm still going to do it.
Yeah, me too. The annoyance I get when I try and make something, it's just manual. I'm like, oh, I can't believe I missed this one. I'm like, I don't even know what it does, but I need to make at least 20 of them, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, I really don't care what they do. I just need to auto cook them.
Because you need that for Battle Pass every week. You need to cook
Yeah,
20
yeah.
items. So,
Yeah.
but after, this whole thing with the gorge and, most travelers got up and took a cold shower after this before returning to gameplay.
Or just you.
After Toma was engorged, right?
I think a lot of people did, guys. Anyway, so we are able to get him back, I believe, to the tea house, which is like, really? This is where we're going to take him? But whatever.
Yeah, it's like around the corner.
Yeah, and it's like in public. But Thoma is like, I'm going to stay here for presumably as long as it takes you to finish the Inazuma Archon Quest. So if you pause there, and he's stuck there, guys. Like, if you haven't touched Genshin in 3 years, which, like, I don't know why you're listening to this podcast, because we probably spoiled so much for you. But if you haven't played in 3 years, your Thoma has been hiding in the Komori tea house for 3 years. Go free him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's having such a good time with the dog.
But is he?
Yeah.
He's in hiding. Anyway, and so he goes into hiding and he basically is like, listen, you're wanted now too. Like, for standing up against the Shogun and, like, helping me escape, you should go to Watasumi Island and you should join the rebellion force. And so Thoma is what pushes us out to become the captain of Swordfish 2. And that's really the last we see of Thoma during the Archon line. Because he's in hiding, he does not join any of the rebellion fights we're in. Over in Watasumi, when we fight with, like, Beidou and Kazuha, he's not there. And he's also not there when us and the rest of the rebel force kind of storm the palace. And Kazuha's dead friend's vision comes to life. Like, Thoma is hiding and all of that. And also, it probably wouldn't be a good look for, like, the Kamisato's maid to be at those events either.
Yeah.
We do not see Ayato or Ayaka at them as well.
But Thoma is sort of involved with Ayaka in getting Sayu to steal the paperwork that proves to Kujo-Sara that the shogunate is working with the Fatui.
Right.
He is sort of involved, even though he's not featured.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is very true. Which, of course, he's involved. He's involved in everything.
Yeah.
Where isn't he? Is the true question.
My bad.
I'm engorged in your bed. Got it.
Whoa.
But we really don't see much of Thoma after that. He is in a few events. He does have a hangout. The first event you really get to see him in is the Iridori Festival, which is fun. And Inazuma is opening their doors, opening their borders, and they've invited a lot of merchants and artists from across Teyvat, aka only the nations we've been to.
Yeah. Across, but only north.
Yeah, only Mondstadt and Liyue were invited. Sorry, other nations, you don't exist. They invite them over. It's a great event. If you haven't heard about it or anything, please, like, go watch a playthrough or something. It's really good. Good Venti, good Albedo Klee, Xingqiu. But the main thing you need to know about Thoma in this is that he's trying to become friends with Itto, and he accidentally poisons Itto in the process.
I mean, in his defense, I didn't believe that Itto was allergic to beans either.
But Thoma didn't even know. He wasn't. At least if you did Itto's story quest, you were aware of his allergy. Like,
Yeah.
Thoma had no idea.
I thought it was a fake.
What? No.
I did.
Itto's too big of, like, a dummy to fake an allergy.
It's like when I go places and I say I'm allergic to mushrooms, and it's just because I hate them.
No, you're gonna scare waitstaff. They're gonna be like, oh my god, we killed her by accident. No. But yeah, it's like the best thing that happens in the Iridori Festival. And there's a lot of great things that happen in the Iridori Festival, which is funny because Itto originally is jealous of Thoma. He's like, why did he get to be the big 100th vision taken? All of our visions are the same. It should have been me. Mer.
Oh, Thoma.
Yeah, I think that's really Thoma just trying to extend his network in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, he offers up this, like, friendship drink to him. It's like a specialty drink made for the festival, and it has soy-based. It is soy-based, and yeah, he drinks it. And then later, we actually get to see him again at the Arataki Iridescent Rockin' for Life Tour de Force of Awesomeness event.
What?
The Arataki... The Iridescent...
What?
The Iridescent Arataki Rockin' for Life Tour de Force of Awesomeness event.
What?
The Iridescent Arataki. This is the one with Marco Meatball's character, and they're, like, doing a music festival.
Uh-huh.
And we do get to see them interact again at that event, and at this point, they've become bros. He's like, Thoma, my bro, your eyes do not deceive. It is me. And I'm like, all right, like what first off, why do you sound like Marcello in the SNL skits where he's like Domingo? But like they become friends, it seems.
Uh-huh.
But he also shows up as an option in the Akitsu Kimodameshi event, which is our first flower festival event. We actually have an episode on that as well. And Thoma is one of the competitors that you could compete with in round 2. And he says that, Ayato gave him time off to do it.
He better. That man works a lot. Thoma, not Ayato.
Don't you feel like Thoma is like kind of the boss of Ayato?
You think he's telling him?
Yeah, don't you feel like he was like, I'm gonna need some time off? And Ayato was like, well, I have this meeting coming up and then this is happening. And Thoma was like, I need the time off. And Ayato was like, got it. Yes, absolutely.
I feel like it may have been a little bit more like, hey, will you go down there and spy on this thing that I'm trying to like arrange with Yaimiko?
Yeah.
He's up to something.
But it's so sad because Thoma is like scared of Yaimiko. Like he avoids doing any sort of message delivering to the shrine because he doesn't like dealing with her.
Because he can't hide anything from her.
Yeah. He's like, Ayato, please don't send me in today. Anybody else will do.
Or is it that they're both part of the spy network and he doesn't want to be seen, communicating with another member of the network?
Or is it that him and Yaimiko are both competing for Ayato's love and he's afraid that she's gonna like voodoo smackdown him?
Wait, she's gonna what?
Voodoo smackdown him.
Voodoo smackdown him. Okay.
She's gonna do voodoo on him.
But the smackdown, I love the smackdown.
Yeah, I mean, she's gonna like WWE style elbow like the little voodoo doll. So Thoma's gonna go into the ground. Thoma's just one day gonna wake up and his bed is gonna be broke. He's gonna be like, I didn't do this. I don't remember doing it.
Shit, I'm gonna stick a pin in it.
Yeah, literally multiple pins everywhere. But Thoma also has one of the most wholesome hangouts, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so his hangout is very much like him. It's very wholesome and it's very much of like, let's get some stuff done. Like we're kind of just following him along. And there's a couple, like if you haven't done a hangout yet, it has multiple endings. Like we just went through this. We called it the Choose Your Own Adventure when we were going through Bennett's 2 episodes back. And basically you just follow along and see what kind of nonsense and hooligansness you can get into. Or in Bennett's case, murder. I'll take no. I'll take no.
Sure.
No comments.
Rest in peace, Royce.
You're dead.
No.
DEAD. So in Thoma's though, like, so we kind of go. It starts out like we're just gonna go like go get him over at the Kamisato Estate. Like this is gonna be fun. And like Fiends was saying, he's an outsider and he's treated like an outsider. And we find out that still to this day, even with all the guards and stuff at the Yashiro Commission, they all still talk shit about him. They're like, he's not one of us. Where it's like, I mean, at this point, he's one of you. I mean, come on now. He just saved the whole country. I think he's one of you. So like everybody starts, we're just kind of listening. We're pissed about it. And like Thoma shows up and he's like, whatever. He's like, it doesn't bother me. I'm on vacation, but I don't need to deal with this stuff. So he's like, let's go somewhere where it's quiet.
Ooh. So
we move 5 feet, which is one of my favorite things. Let's go somewhere it's really quiet. Step over here. Shuffle, shuffle. So he's like, this day's about you. You're my guest. We're going to do whatever you want to do. I want to show you everything around this great country. Well, not really, just really so much about this one area of Inazuma. We ain't leaving this island.
Rito.
Yeah, it's Rito. We go to Rito and Narukami Island. Like those are the 2 that we're kind of going to stick with and stay in. And we go over to Inazuma City and stuff. But it's really just that one little peninsula. Is that a peninsula? Is that an archipelago?
It's just an island.
I think it's
a group
an
of islands.
What do you call a group of islands? That has a name.
Isn't it an archipelago?
Is it just wait, is that really? Do I not actually even know the definition of it?
You love saying it.
I know.
Yeah, a group of islands is an archipelago.
Which is, that's what it was. I
A
said
chain,
peninsula.
cluster, or collection of islands.
Florida is a big peninsula.
Florida's a peninsula. Inazuma, this part of Inazuma is an archipelago. Or as the real people say, archipelago.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're talking to him a little bit and we're like, aren't you pissed about all these guys who are talking shit about you? And he's just like, no, it really doesn't bother me. And if you say, okay, it's your life, like I'll listen to you, it goes down the main path of the hangout. If you say, but I think you should stick up for yourself, then it follows this small little side piece, which is basically where we're almost making Thoma do what he does in the background because we don't know that about him yet. So we find out, like, we're like, he's like, fine, we'll just go talk to people. And we talk to some people, the Yashiro folks. We find out about this woman who lost a shipment and then she can't have it for one of the events that's going to be going on. And Ayaka's going to cry about it because they're not going to have like this thing for this event. There's somebody in Inazuma who can replace the items, but he's price gouging them. And he's a real jerk.
I hate price gouging.
Yeah, he's like, what? You need it. I have it. Give me the money. And we're like, that's rude. Like, this is for your people, too. Like, you shouldn't be doing this stuff. I feel like we've had a lot of rude people lately. He's the new dick guy. So we end up talking to someone about like, the whole situation and like we get somebody to help us out and it's going to be all good. Like, we run around kind of trying to figure out a bunch of stuff. And then like Thoma's just like, it's done. It's good. We're good. All of a sudden he's like, oh, I can sell this to you for like nothing now. Like, sure, take it. And we're like, what just happened? And Thoma's like, I just talked to my people.
My little network.
Yeah, and the guy's like, oh, this is so important for Inazuma. Sure. It's like the lady, the hostess at the tea house in Leeway. She was just like, what are you staring at the first time? And then the next time she's like, come on in. That's this dude, 100%. Chuyi, yeah. If you say like, okay, it's your life, Thoma, we'll do what you say. He gives us the option of, do you want to do something outdoors or indoors? Spoiler alert, indoors will be outdoors as well. There's not much difference between them. Do you guys remember what you did first?
No. You guys remember these things. I don't.
Do you remember doing this hangout?
Yes, I do remember doing the hangout. I remember knitting sweaters.
Yeah.
But like,
well, if you choose that you want to do some stuff outside, he's like, great. He's like, we can go hang out with some cats and dogs.
I'm like, what?
He's like, or, we could head on over into town too. We can do that. So if you choose to go into town, you're going over to Rito. And he's there. He waxes poetic about how it reminds him of Mondstadt. And, that really with the Sukoko decree, it had gotten kind of like decimated because shit just wasn't good at the time. Mm-hmm. But, things are getting better now. So we're just kind of walking around. He's like giving us some little insides into his things, kind of the stuff we've already talked to. He talks about bringing dandelion wine. But like, so we go up to one stall and he's like, hey, what you got today? And she goes through this nice thing of like, here's this jade necklace or there's this bracelet. Which one do you want? And he's just like, wrap them up. Let's take both. And I don't know if he paid for that shit or if we had to pay for it.
Oh, we totally ended up paying for it. He's trying to save the Kamisato cash.
Yeah. So we bought ourselves a present. Then we end up over at a little wine place where he goes a little bit more into the fact that his dad was drunk and that, he was sad that he never got to like go to Angel Share and have a drink with his dad because he was so young at the time before his dad left. And he goes on to say like, I really want to go there though. And I really want to bang D-Luke. So one day maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do that together. But then he's like, oh, wait.
Maybe we can do that together. Traveler. Let's bang D-Luke together.
And have a drink. It's decided.
Thank Barbados. I'm in.
But then he goes, oh, but maybe not yet because you're not old enough to drink. And I was like, you son of a bitch. Why is everybody calling us so young? I know we've gone through this 10,000 times of the age thing, of how old everybody is. But like, it makes it seem like when we're in Mondstadt that we look young and they're like, you can't drink. But it almost seems like we're like, but we can, but we don't. And he outwardly is just like, nope, you can't drink. So guess we're not going to do.
Probably like hundreds of years old.
Yeah, probably.
Older than everyone.
Yeah.
So now our menage a trois is off the table because we're not old enough. Bummer. Which is saying that out loud is kind of gross. It should be. If we're not old enough to drink, we're not old enough to have these kind of relationships. So we keep walking around, then he's like, we're just walking past the store and the lady's like, hey, Thoma, I love you. It's been a while. Do you want to buy anything? And he's like, we don't even have to walk up. He's just like, yeah, sure. I'll take that toy fox. I was like, you want to go look, see what else she's got? Nah, he's just buying shit willy-nilly.
And who's paying for it?
No, apparently, probably us.
The Yashiro commission.
Yeah. It's on his expense report.
Yeah.
This is just like Zhongli all over again.
It is. It's totally. But like as we're standing there, like this dude comes running up. His name is Kaichi, and he's a merchant. And he's like, oh, Thoma, I'm so glad that you're here. I have something for you. And Tomo's like, I don't know who you are. And he's like, oh, well, you helped me. But, well, you kind of helped me through something else. Like, I had some problems, and then, you did your thing, and now I don't have those problems anymore. So I bought you these really expensive candies that, I can't even afford to eat myself. I'm going to give them to you. And he's just like, he accepts them and says, thank you. Like, that's great. And they kind of move on. And now we're like hanging out by a food stall. And this is where he starts getting a little flirty with us.
As he should.
We're talking about the food place and how good it is. And we're like, oh, but you're a good cook too. And he's like, oh, shucks. No, I mean, maybe I'll keep making you food and you can taste it for me. And then you can tell me, maybe I'll get as good as this place, but only if you'll be my taste tester.
He's trying to get us to drink the bubble tea that Ayato makes him drink.
Which, like, why are we trying to poison us now? It's not fair. I didn't sign up for this.
The next part is one of the little sticking points because I like Rito and I like the fact that it looks like it's autumn. But he goes on to be like, hey, the seasons are changing. I'm so happy that you're walking around with us. Oh, maybe he doesn't actually mean the seasons. Isn't that funny? I just went, oh, you weren't literally talking about the weather. Maybe he meant like, the seasons of like people coming in and out. And meanwhile, I'm like, where's fall? Like, this is just fall. Where's winter? Like, I need some spring. Nothing.
Just fall.
He just meant that the tides are changing. Oh, well, that took me a while to get.
I love the point of clarity that you just had.
I think that they probably meant like actual seasons that we just don't see in game.
We never see a season. It'd be nice. I mean, he does talk about weather even in the other parts because he's saying it's starting to get cold because that's why he has to knit all these sweaters for dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I guess it could be like both ways. He kind of means it. He's still telling us about like, talking about Mondstadt and whatnot. And he's like, maybe I'll get Ayaka to give me an extended vacation and I'll go home for a bit. So he has the intention to go back. He just doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's when he and I go on our honeymoon.
Oh my God.
So we're like, you know what? We want to say thank you. And we give him a gift. And you can choose like to give him some kind of like a gift of something that's Mondstadt or like an Astra Real flower. And no matter which one you give him, though, he's just like dumbfounded. He's just like, oh my God, this is for me. Like, this is too much. Like, I can't believe that you're giving me this gift. We're like, but you just accepted that gift from the other person. Like, why are you so taken aback now? Like, you're like flustered about it. He says, well, that was transactional. Those are people like that dude was giving me a gift because he's hoping that I'll help him again in the future.
Mm.
You're giving this to me because you're just the bee's knees.
Am I Brandon's knees?
Yes.
I thought so.
But then he's like, well, now I have to give you something. And he takes us home. No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
He gives us an omamori that he carries with him. So basically he gave us the junk out of his pocket.
Nice. That's my goals.
Yeah. It's actually very sentimental, and it's something that his dad gave to his mom, and then his mom gave it to him when he was leaving. It's probably not all that lucky thinking about it in that respect, but because nobody's coming back from any of those trips. But he gives it to us. We're like, oh, that's so nice. And that's that.
I don't even need to do another one. Like, this was so nice. Like,
Yeah.
I remember thinking that we'll do, like, whatever ending I got the first time, I was like, I just feel so warm and fuzzy. Like, I'm good now.
We were making friends. It was lovely. Well, we make friends in the next one, too, so keep that warm feeling going. Because then we go and hang out with some cats and dogs.
Woo!
And he's just like, let me gather some stuff, and we're going to go to this little area near the tea house that I always go to. And this is where there's all these like cats and dogs, and we can feed them and love them and all this stuff.
The best day ever, basically.
Why we don't continue to be able to feed these dogs and cats annoys me, because I want to feed them all. We got to feed them all then. And then, like, the dogs like give their bellies for rubs and stuff. And we're like, oh, and he's like, that means that they're happy and they're so glad that you're like helping them and stuff. So we're like, well, does Taramaro do that? And he's like, it almost seems like we're asking him like just being silly, like we don't think that Taramaro actually does it, but he's just like, oh no, he's a ninja, he can't. He's always on his guard, he would never. It's like such a like really like important kind of answer.
Meanwhile, like the traveler asks that question as they're getting on their back and rolling over and just hoping that they'll be getting a belly rub. Like, oh, that's interesting. As they lay down.
This is also when he starts. Then he tells us about the dog over in Kondo Village, which we've already gone through with the Shimatsuban dog, basically. Mm-hmm. And then it gets all sad again and tears because I don't know why. It gets me. It's in my heart.
It should get you. It's about a dog. Any dog story makes me cry. More than human stories sometimes.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, the guy's gone. Who cares? The dog's waiting. So Thoma says, though, he wants to make all the sweaters for the winter for the dogs because, they're like going to be cold. And we do have like the picture because at the end of each hangout, you get a little snapshot that coincidentally, I don't think we mentioned in the story, but I know we've mentioned in the past. For your teapot, you can buy this frame that lets you put any photo in it, but it's got to be like photos that the game gave you. It can't just be like any of your snapshots. So it gives you all the options of the hangouts that you can put in there. And one of the pictures is a cat and a dog putting on a fucking sweater. And it's adorable. Why there's not cats and dogs running around near the tea house with sweaters on. Again, like I'm heartbroken over that because that would be so cute.
I imagine you could dress up the cats in your teapot. You could do that with Pom Pom.
Who?
Pom Pom.
Pom Pom.
Oh my god! From Star Rail.
Oh. Oh, the little chubby girl.
The conductor of the Astral Express, the bunny. The rabbit-looking guy.
The chubby bunny.
Like the one character you should know from Star Rail.
I actually got a little bit worried of there's a dog or a cat somewhere in Genshin that I've been able to like dress up and I haven't. It was more so like, they're naked and I've just left them like that. Our other choice, so that finishes up our outdoor adventures. So now our indoor adventures, like I said, don't get too excited. We're not going to be indoors for very long. We head over to the Kimura tea house. Like we go there, like he's already kind of there and we like walk in and he has all this food prepared for us. And we're like, not sure I'm going to eat that. Because we remember the hot pot game that happened over during the Archon. I think that was during the Archon that they did the hot pot game, right?
Yes, in the back of the tea house.
We kind of briefly mentioned too, the hot pot game is basically you have to put stuff in the hot pot and whoever can eat the most weirdest thing is the winner. So it's just who can get sick.
Yeah, basically. Who can not throw up first?
Yeah. And like B said too, Ayato's giving him all like this sus food to like try to make sure that it's not going to kill him. He thinks he's some king or something. We just eat it and he just finds it funny. Like I think he's just doing it just to fuck with Thoma. Like here's some sus stuff.
Which I hate. Like I really don't like that.
Yeah, that he's just giving us bad shit. I don't like that when I make food with Ayato, he makes my food sus. Yeah. Which, in case you didn't know that, if you have Ayato or you have Hu Tao, I think there's another character too. They will make a sus version of your meal and it's less effective than the meal that you were making. So it's not just that it turns gray, it actually is kind of shitty as well.
It's bad for you, yeah.
Yeah.
And Rosaria makes like a scary looking.
She puts thorns on hers.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't get worse. Some people might say it gets better.
Amber makes really bad something and Bennett makes bad eggs, right?
Scorched eggs, yeah.
Yes, but I still think that we still get a good like it still does the trick. I don't think any of them are making the sus stuff though.
I just feel like Thoma deserves better, and if he wants to sort of jump ship, I'm right here. And if Ayato wants to fight me, let's go.
Do you ever ship Thoma with Kazuha?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Toma and Yomiya, I think, would be like the most wholesome little duo. I think it would be adorable.
I mean, I've never thought of Toma and Kazuha, but now that I'm thinking about it, I could see it. Like, I kind of am into it.
I just went with like your favorite characters.
My favorites. Yeah, I know.
I was like, do they go together?
That would be cute.
My team kind of is like, I wonder if this little, like, would they be friends in the real life?
Like Rosaria and Shenhe.
Rosaria and Shenhe is the ship that nobody asked for but me. I want it and I love it. I need them to meet in game so bad. Just for 2 minutes, just to make me happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I also, a side note, anytime Rosaria actually shows up in game, I'm pretty damn excited because she is a leftover Mondstadtian. When she showed up in the anecdotes that we had, I was like besides myself. I was like, Rosaria's alive.
And she's a part of the spy network, just like Toma.
Yeah. So then she would be in the spy network with D-Luke and Toma.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is Rosaria Toma's mom?
No.
Oh, that's right. He would have to be a vampire then, because she only makes vampire children. I was like, what?
That's why the dad left and went back to Inazuma, because his wife became a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No. I refute.
So in our indoor quest the outside of, so we and we're like, this is fantastic. It's actually funny, we like slurp it up, like there's even like the sounds. I'm like, freaking gavones, they just like all done. And it's not even Paimon, it's like us. We're like, that was delicious, make us more. So he's like, he's talking to us and he points out that we have a couple loose threads on our clothes, which is a little rude. But then he says, well, I'll fix them for you. I think he was just trying to get our clothes off. But then, he's like, I love doing this. Like, I love being a housekeeper. Like, I love all the stuff that I do. It's not just a job, like you guys said. He's like, this is my deal. Feels like it's very fulfilling. And he thinks that everybody should kind of do it. And we're like, well, why don't you teach a class like on housekeeping? And he's just like, really? You think people would be interested in that? I mean, I'd show up. So he's just like, okay, well, how do you think we should go about this? So our two choices in this option is keep it just within the Yashiro Commission, or we can get the word out. Mm-hmm. And because of the way I choose things, keep it within the Yashiro Commission was the first one. So I clicked that. That is what I tend to do the most. So we're like, okay, let's go back over and see who would be interested. We go over to the Kamisato Estate and we're just like, would you guys be interested in this? And some people are like, yeah, I think maybe I would. But they're like, you should ask the Furuta. And she's the butler. And she's the old lady. And the way they kind of say it, I thought Furuta was going to yell at me. I'm still waiting. I think she's going to yell at me at some point. Because they were just like, that's going to be a hard sell. And she's just like, that sounds great. Why don't you do a big spring cleaning with it? Like, show everybody how to actually do stuff. But then she's like, but make sure you invite, like, not just the servants and the staff, but the other part of the Yashiro Commission too. Like, that was her only, like, note. I'm like, okay, thanks, Furuta. So, we partake in some gardening. Toma is so happy that we're there with him. And then the next day we show up for the class and there's no one there. And we're like, oh shit. We're like, nobody showed up. Like, that really sucks. And of course, like Toma is, he's like, that's fine. I didn't think it was really going to work the first time, but maybe next time. But just think of it this way. Now you have a personal teacher. And that's when we learn how to knit. But he says the instructions really quick. I don't think we got it. I don't knit, I crochet. And I'm not even that, like, I'm very beginner stage. And when he was saying the instructions, I was like, I have no idea what you just said.
You're like, what?
Like, who?
Tiff is like, this is a real class.
Yeah. I was like, let me learn how to knit. I mean, my mother taught me a long time ago how to crochet, and then I completely forgot. And Vanessa, who is our guest host that comes on, she retaught me because she's a fantastic crocheter.
Yeah.
But she wants me to do fancy things like double crochets. I'm like, oh, let's not get crazy. Yeah. So that's our first part of our, keeping it with the Yashiro. And of course, like this, just to reiterate the fact that this is our indoors one. So we were outside. Outside of the estate, sitting in the sun, knitting sweaters for the winter.
I know Toma really was like, I'm gonna make you think you're going inside for the day, but we're gonna get our vitamin D somehow.
We went inside and had some food. That was it. That was all of the inside side. So if you chose the get out and spread the word, he's like, okay, there's all this stuff that we got to get together then. Because if we're going to have all these different people, we really need to there's going to be a lot more involved. So, we go help him get some ingredients and stuff. He's like, let's go over to the textile shop because, she's got to know some people who would be interested in this. Like she has people who are coming and buy textiles to actually make stuff. So they got to be interested in the domestic type of things.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So she's just like, oh yeah, I'll let people know. But you really should there's some people over there. You should go ask them. They would really like it. So we go up to this group, it's two disgruntled housewives. And they are like, oh my God, my husband is so lazy. He comes home from work and he just puts up his feet and he does nothing else. He acts like it's my job, even though it's the only thing I do. Which I'm like, you just kind of said it was your job there.
Yeah, basically.
But, they're like, oh, this is just, I can't believe it. So then we walk over and we're like, hey, why don't you come to, Toma's like, I'm going to have a class. Why don't you come over? And they're like, that's kind of an odd coincidence, like what we were just talking about. And you came over and offered this. We're like, oh, no, it's just, we're asking everybody. But you know what? The first ones are free. Like, I'm not asking for any money or anything, and then if you like it, then you can pay to come back for a few. But registration's slow. So I want to get some people in the seats.
Yeah, butts and seats. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. And you know how you were always told when you were a kid that drug dealers were going to give you one drug for free, so this way you get hooked, and then you'd buy more.
That's what happened to me.
Oh. I was gonna say I've never met a drug. Well, I've not that I've met many drug dealers, but nobody's ever tried to give me drugs for free.
You're
gonna give me drugs for free?
Yeah, Genshin's a free drug. It's better than drugs.
Stay off drugs, kids. They're not good.
Woo!
I have to add that in there. That might be why no drug dealers have offered me anything, because I'm like, no, get away. So we're like, okay, so these wives are just like, well, is this just for ladies or can our lazy husbands come too? And they're like, it's for everybody, because everybody should be doing housekeeping, because they should all be taking care of themselves and each other if they live with people. And I was like, I felt very targeted in that. I was like, Thoma, do you know that I'm behind in my housekeeping? Why are you trying to guilt me here, buddy? But he's like, it's an important part of, keeping yourself together. So they're like, here, go ask some more people. Go ask this old guy over here. He'd be really interested. What else has he got to do? He's just sitting around dying. So we go over and we're like, hey, dude, do you want to join this class? And he's just like, oh, you are too young to know anything. I'm going to know everything. And Thoma's just like, well, if I don't teach you something, then you can teach me something. And the guy's like, got it. He's like, bet, I'll be there. So the next day, all of a sudden there's all these people. So of course, because we never see more than 6 people in a place, there's 6 people sitting there again, outside at the Kamisato Estate. We're having this little class and everybody's sitting outside. And all of a sudden 2 of the Yashiro samurais kind of walk up, and they're actually the dudes who were talking shit about Thoma in the very beginning. And he's like, why are you guys here? And the lady gets up and she goes, I invited them. These are our husbands. They don't do anything. They need to learn how to do stuff. And they learn how to mend clothes and stuff. So, while they're sitting there and there's nobody trying to break into the Kamisato Estate, they can, mend some socks, sweep up a bit. What else are they doing?
I love that. They were like, this guy is going to teach you guys to figure your shit out.
Yeah. And they're like, it's you. They're really disappointed that Thoma is the one going to be teaching them, because they were just like, he doesn't do anything. Of course, to go back to the beginning when they're like, he's not even doing anything today. He's like, I'm on vacation, buddy. Of course I'm not doing anything. But I also came here to do my job on my day off.
Go Thoma, honestly. He always sticks to his guns.
He's dismantling toxic masculinity.
Yeah, one step at a time.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's my husband.
That's why he's my secret
That's why he's your what?
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If I crochet you a scarf, does that mean you'll be my husband too?
No.
Oh.
Now, if it's for dogs, maybe.
Oh, okay. Do you have a dog? No.
No.
You're just gonna randomly find a dog or a cat somewhere on your street and be like, "Oh, look, they have a sweater."
Tiff could make a sweater for this guy.
I could make a tube top because, again, not very good at crocheting, so I could only make things in a circle.
I'm just picturing a cat with a tube top.
I want a tube top. Make
I want to
me a
make you a tube top.
Yeah, I want to look sexy in a crocheted tube top. Maybe Thoma will leave Brandon for me.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, I think the hangout though is super sweet.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my god.
You're getting deaded.
What? I'm gonna fight you.
Oh,
You wanna
it's
fight?
on. It's on. We're gonna fight over my man.
Yeah, let's go. Anyway, before I get my
2 weeks
ass
later,
handed to-
Thoma is dancing topless at the Twink Tank.
and I'm like, woo!
Is that the Pink Pony Club all of a sudden?
Yeah, we play a lot of Chapel Roan at the Twink Tank, guys.
Pink Pony Club.
That's Eddie Diaz's song. It will die by that. Yeah, but Thoma's hangout was just so wholesome. The Inazuma hangouts are really good. Like, I know Tiff doesn't agree, but Goru has a good hangout.
I mean, I'd be fine with it if Goru wasn't in it.
I know Tiff also doesn't agree, but Kokomi has a good story quest.
I said the ending is Zerum. She's just trying to get me in trouble now. I said the ending was good. The beginning part where Goru's in it's really boring.
No, it's great.
And the worst one ever is Ayato. So you can't tell me you like Ayatos.
No, Ayato, he was the one bad cookie in the batch. He was like the bad grape. You're like, ugh, and then you're like, I'm not gonna let it ruin the bag.
Oh my God.
Not that you played all of them. I mean, Cloud Retainer,
I'm talking about Inazuma, Brandon. Not Leeway. So anyway, no roasting Amanda today. So Thoma's story quest really cements his importance in his community, but also with the people around him and a little bit about him. And so, like, Tiff, you actually mentioned a little bit about, like, the spies when you were talking about whether or not the spy dog would, like, his belly rubbed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little confusion about, Thoma's involvement with the Shumatsuban. Is he involved because it's Ayato's thing? I want to say no, because Thoma is like constantly nagging Sayu to teach him the way of the Nujutsu. And he says, I'm just a student looking for a teacher. Am I really out of line? Because Sayu is not about it.
It's not that quote from a movie. I'm just a boy looking for a girl, looking for a hamburger.
Something like that.
Something.
I don't know.
It's a famous quote.
I love that Sayu's like, get a job.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I need to sleep more. You are disrupting my height sleep. But we mentioned a little bit his interactions with Itto, Ayato, Ayaka, the Ryan Shogun. We mentioned that she feels a little guilty for what happened with him, but he actually respects her as a god and fears her. And he says that, in Mondstadt, they all respect Barbados so much for now until they realize it's Venti.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, we don't really have the same respect here. Like, you fall in line, but it's more about fear. And he isn't mad at the Shogun for trying to take his vision, but he just can't wrap his head around why taking away the aspirations of her people would make Inazuma better. I was like, that's really deep.
I don't know. Did anybody ever answer that question? It never made any sense. I also don't know how closing everything down made eternity happen. That didn't work either. There were dumb ideas from the beginning. And they were all based by the Fatui anyway, so whatever.
Well, the Fatui only came in with the delusions.
Yeah, well, they were about this vision decree because they wanted to sell their delusions.
I think, A didn't really have a lot of say in finding eternity at this point. Like, she was out meditating in her titty sword. And so the Shogun was like, yeah, this sounds like it'll make the longevity of my people better. Sure.
Yeah.
Keep all outsiders out. Sounds perfect. Don't let anyone leave. Yeah. Get rid of magic. Cool.
Yeah, don't let anyone have power besides me.
And that was actually orchestrated not just by the Shogun, but by one of the tri commissions. The dirty ass motherfuckers. Everybody's doing stuff.
Yeah, the shady ass Rito people.
What's that? What episode do we go through all of that? It's got to be A's, right?
I mean, we talk about it in the A and Makoto one, in the Kujo Sara one. And I think we also talk about it in the Kamisato sibling episode, possibly.
We don't have one that's just on Inazuma.
We don't have one on the Tri-Commission or on the Archon.
The Archon Quest, but yeah, we have the twin Archon episode.
Oh, we actually in season 1 we did Vision Hunt.
Okay, yeah, so it's in the Vision Hunt. Yeah, that must be the one that I'm thinking of then.
Yeah, that might be your closest option.
Yeah. So if you're interested more on all the commissions and all the little things that we're just kind of flying by and mentioning, we do have an episode on the Vision Hunt decree.
I remember that because we talked at length about the omnipresent god.
Yes. Mm-hmm. The gift from Shiznaya.
And I would also say that the episode on the Kamisatos from season 2 is probably has a good recap in there as well, just because we talk a little bit more about the Tri-Commission and their involvement in that and like where they stand. But there are a few other people that Thoma has some good relations with. One of them is Beto, and while Beto doesn't have a voice line about him, he says that Beto offered to take him out on her boat one day to see like the big storm clouds that aren't there anymore. And he's like, but one day, like maybe I'll take her up on it. And I'm hoping that since the storm clouds are gone, that means he's gonna go to Mondstadt one day and take her up on her little boat ride. And also, he has a voice line about Heizo, but Heizo doesn't have one about him. But Thoma's basically like, I heard he's real hard to get along with. I don't want to deal with him. Which is funny, because you would think, like, spy detective Heizo would have talked to Thoma at some point.
Different levels of policing there, you know? One's above ground, one's underground. And then there's the Millilith.
No comment.
The Inazuma Millilith.
I think he's just threatened by Heizo because he knows Heizo is so good at flirting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're all good at flirting. It's really hard on me. Makes my life really difficult, guys.
We're going to have like a cold shower count for you, Fiends.
What? No, I don't need a cold shower right now. I'm good.
I just mean when you're doing all the hangouts and stories. We'll have to like do a little tap.
They're just so flirty with you. I mean, even like in the Archon Quest, they're flirty with you, right? Like, come on, leave me alone. Anyway, also, Taramaru actually has a voice line about Thoma that is translated through Goru, where he just says that like he's really good at taking care of people. But Taramaru, this dog, is so deep. He goes, but you can't just take care of others. You have to take care of yourself too. And I guess we start laughing because Goru was like, wait, what are you laughing at? I was just translating what he said. Like, leave me alone. But it's really true for Thoma, you know, and all these, every voice line you have about him for the most part is like, he's so helpful, he's so helpful, he's so helpful, he's so kind, he does whatever he can for us. Even when you look at the Kamisato siblings, Thoma is like super aware that Ayato is overwhelmed and he knows that he can't help him when he's out in the field. So his goal is to just make their home life and life at the estate for Ayato as easy as possible. And then with Ayaka, he thinks that she needs to speak her mind more and that she'll get quiet when like she's gonna voice an opinion, she'll like stop and back off of it. And he's like, if you ever see her shut her mouth, tell her to say it. Make her say it. I need her to know that people should hear her. So he's always like so focused on other people that this line from Taramaru translated through Goru I think is really deep for Thoma, and it really goes back to the idea, too, of why he hasn't gone to Mondstadt. He is too focused on taking care of the Kamisatos to give himself a vacation home. And he is very homesick. He is always being called an outlander. He has these voice lines in his hangout about D-Luke. He remembers Eula and all the drama with the Lawrence clan. And he likes Jean. He's like, it's so cool that she's like the acting grandmaster. Like, she deserves that so much. And so he has like all these people and these relations back home, but he doesn't go home. And I hope that in the future we can see Thoma step out of that and really showcase some love for himself.
Well, his mother is not even there anymore because she went deep into the spy network. So she's already in Snezhnaya at this point.
And that's okay, because we don't care about him seeing his mom at this rate, because she sounds like they didn't have a good relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know that for fact, and there's no voice lines or anything that specifically say that, but the fact that you left your mother and it doesn't seem like you've written any letters home or anything.
You've just been looking for your dad.
Yeah, and you gave up on that too, right?
Yeah.
After his dad defected to Snezhnaya.
Everyone has defected to Shizna except for Thoma. Got
I was
it.
going to say maybe Beta will take him when Port Dorman's there and he can actually like sail the boat directly in.
His mother is there to fight his dad. Like parent versus
Oh my
parent.
goodness.
But there is one relationship that I'd really like to focus in on that we've mentioned a little bit, and that's the Yoimiya Thoma relationship. And I think that depending on who you are, you can say that they are sibling coded again, or you could say that they're flirting with each other. I like to lean toward the flirting.
You like to lean toward the Paimon?
Yeah, I don't know why floating came out of my mouth, but it did. I like to lean toward the flirting. Yoimiya says that he's such a smooth talker and that she always goes to Thoma for help. Like Thoma has helped get her out of trouble with Kujo Sara, and she says something along the lines of like, he might seem to talk a lot, but what he says will always come full circle and make sense. So make sure you listen to everything he says. I talk a lot. No one is saying that about me. No one is like, listen to the words that Fiend says. It's really like, it's going to make sense. It's going to be really like prolific. Like, no one says that about me. So Yoimiya head over heels. Thoma thinks that she's great and thinks that her fireworks are great. And he's also like promoting her business because when we ask about her, he gives us a coupon for the fireworks. And then he has one of his voice lines says, she's so easy to get along with, super straightforward, just says whatever she thinks, dreamy eyes everywhere.
I don't know. I feel like they're too similar.
No, wait, no. So then, in our favorite Irides and Arataki Rockin' for Life Tour de Force of Awesomeness event, yes, I said it once. We actually see Yoimiya and Thoma interacting, and Thoma is like, yo, it's so cool that like you brought your fireworks all the way here. Like you're so dedicated. Like this is so cool. And then later you can go up to them and they're talking by themselves. And Yoimiya is like, Thoma, you're like really good at arts and stuff too. And he's like, I don't really know about that. Like, she's like, no, you have knowledge in it. He goes, does knitting count? Like I knit sweaters for cats. And she's like, of course it counts. That's beautiful. And so they're in love.
You seem very invested.
So ever since we did the Yoimiya episode last season, I became very into this ship.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. We talked about this back then. Yeah.
Like, it's just like there is something about it. And I know that you think they're like similar characters, and I can understand where that's coming from. But I think that Thoma has like a trauma level that Yoimiya doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Where like Yoimiya, like her parents are both alive. She is feisty. I think that she's a little more like loose cannon than Thoma. Where Thoma is like feisty underground. Like he doesn't really do that like in front of people, where I think Yoimiya would tell like Yaimiko off. She'd be like, fuck off. But Thoma would never do that in person. And I think they would actually just like meld together. Like I feel like they're like the two missing puzzle pieces to each other's set. Like
okay. I mean, I like the idea that it's like posy on posy.
Yeah, but I also think like Yoimiya, even with us, like as a traveler, like she's very like she's the one person who's like, have you found your sibling? And I think she'd be like that with Thoma too. I think she'd be like, how you doing? Like, if you found anything out about your dad, have you talked to your mom? Like, she's willing to ask the more emotional questions that a lot of people in Teyvat ignore when it comes to at least us. And I can only imagine that what she would be like as a girlfriend, as a partner. Like,
are you in love with Yoimiya?
No. No, I will say we did, I think it was in season 1, we did an episode where we were like, all right, like what characters do we think that each other are, right? It was like, all right, like what characters do you think fiends would be? And I went home and called my one friend and I was like, all right, which character do you think I am? And she played the game and she said Yaimiko. And I was like, no. And I think that's it. It's like, I know I'm not a Yaimiko.
Wait, I thought she said Yoimiya.
I mean, I meant Yoimiya. Jesus. Oh. I'm not a Yaimiko or a Yoimiya. Although Brandon did say that I was Thoma in that episode.
No,
so.
I said you were Amber.
Oh, no, Tiff said I was Thoma. Sorry. I just wanted Brandon to say that I'm his partner. I'm his husband.
Amanda and I are getting married.
Yes.
Man, I made you a sweater or a tube top.
I don't know how I'm going to tell Albedo. Or Adventurine. He's been kind of flirting with me when Ratio's not around.
Oh, he flirts with everyone.
Okay, well, let me have it, Brandon. Let me feel good in my knitted tube top. But and then I just think Thoma too, like I think he would fight for Yoimiya. And I think too, like we don't know a lot about Yoimiya's mom. We know she has a dad who, is not doing 100%. I mean, he's not like dying anytime soon that I know of, but he's not great. And I think Thoma would really stand up for her and her family. And I think her dad likes Thoma too. I think there's a voice line or something where like her dad mentions him. So I don't know. I think they'd be really cute together and they'd be like the talk of the fucking town.
Okay.
I'm really here for it.
I like that.
That being said, we're really lucky that Kirara is still here, Brandon. Because you said some things to her earlier that hurt her feelings, and I might have had to give her a fish under the table to get her to calm down. So we do have a few messages.
Get over it, Kirara.
No, wow. Shop. She's gonna take the mail. No, Kirara, sit. Thank you for the letters. Before she runs away, let's get through our messages. So our first message comes from Kim, and they said, well, Kim Jexi, I believe is the pronunciation of the whole thing. They said, okay, first off, gonna toss Kirara a fish. Thank you for all her trouble recently. And then send Mora for a bottle of dandelion wine on me in hopes that we can get a full episode just on visions and what we know about them so far, because hearing Kenichi's vision story has my brain spinning. What do we think of an episode on visions in the future?
I mean, I think it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I feel like that is sort of so big, it could be like a season finale type episode.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And maybe we'll even find out a little bit more as we move on to our other nations, too, of who gets the visions. That would be a great way to...
Yeah, there's so much mystery about the visions. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll have to wait for Nodcry to do that, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see what we learn there. But I will say, with every episode, we are learning more about the visions. Kenichi, like you said, has a crazy vision story. And then we learned about Bennett's and how, like, it was able to, like, cauterize his wounds, and it seems like some of them could do really magical things. And then we find out about Gaming's and how he like left his behind and it never came looking for him.
Yeah, and there's like the Mona and other people who like basically inherited a dead vision that reactivated.
Kazuha, who was able to do that too with Tomo's.
Right, even though that wasn't like his vision, but
right.
Yeah.
But it helped him in a very important time.
I think it was Ningguang and Mona, right, are the ones that like have visions that belong to someone else.
Yeah, they were just like random baubles that they found.
Yeah.
It's really strange, honestly.
Yeah, there's so much lore around the visions. So, yeah, I love the idea.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to take that one to heart. And we'll let you know when we're doing it. So thank you for the idea. Thank you for the fish and the dandelion wine. We will definitely get a little schwasty with it later.
Thank you.
Our next message comes from Akira, and they said, I have a few questions. Why take the Gnosis now? Why when the traveler comes to that nation? Why not earlier? Because we're the main character.
I love this question. This is like the kind of like logical question that we never really deal with
when
we play this game. It's like, yeah, why didn't the Fatui go after these before we woke up?
Why didn't they do it all at once? This way, maybe the other ones didn't find out that what they were trying to do.
Right. It makes you think that maybe the traveler is somehow tied to the Gnosis. Like maybe the timing isn't coincidental, you know what I mean? Like, but maybe it is. So I don't know. Like it could be just like a storytelling thing of like, well, you're playing through the game and this is what's happening. So obviously it's not going to happen until you get there as the player. But I like the idea that maybe there's a reason behind it where like the Fatui cannot get the Gnosis unless the traveler's involved.
Yeah. I just feel like it's wrong, right place, right time. Like we're just walking in and shit is happening. It's just like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I like to think that, there was a reason, or when we ended up there was like a reason that kind of like brought us to this world, and, all the stuff that was going on and happening and stuff did like, was that like almost like like we became a messenger without knowing it? So all these plans kind of just, while they were thought about, like they were really starting to roll because of whatever, like, geothermal magnetic bullshit kind of happened in Teyvat that pulled us there.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah.
I mean, that this ties back into like my theory that we were sort of sent back to a specific place and time to awaken and then go through our journey via our sibling.
Right.
Yeah, because we might have gotten pulled here during the cataclysm, like along, that could have been our regular start. And then we didn't necessarily go into stasis, but we got thrown up there.
Yeah. I still have my theory that the sibling sacrifices his or herself to send us back and then sprinkles themselves throughout the timeline.
Interesting.
Which is very Doctor Who.
I will say for me, like, I have this question with like everything that I like. I'm always like, oh, he's up on the ladder getting struck by lightning. Of course it happens to him. I'm like, oh, of course this is good. Like, it's always that main character energy vibe. Like,
just bitterness that it didn't happen to Albedo or Tainari.
Well, I mean, I was talking about a character that was pretty chill with him getting struck by lightning, though. So it was cool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was one of my faves. So as long as one of my faves is in peril, I'm a happy camper. They just need to live and like eventually get a happy ending. But I don't know. I'm going to fight Tim Minier at this rate. So it's fine. But yeah,
that's a 911 reference for anyone not following.
I know. I'm gonna like make a cheat sheet, I think, at this rate. But yeah, it's a great question. It's very interesting, and I think you guys have some great points about like the timeline lining up because it's supposed to line up. There is some timey-wimey bullshit going on. Istaroth is around, and we start off with the two Archons who know everything. So they definitely set us on that path too. So thank you for the question.
They know everything, but are cagey about everything.
Oh yeah,
those lips are sealed.
But thank you for your question, Akira. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Akira.
That being said, that is all the time we have for today. If you like this episode, please email Albedo at talesofteyvatpod@gmail.com to inform him of your thoughts and feelings about the episode. He will then give us your thoughts and feelings if he feels appropriate. JK, I still read all the emails. Additionally, travelers, you can feel free to follow us on Instagram, Tales of Teyvat Pod, or Twitter, Tales of Teyvat, if you're afraid that your messages from Albedo will not get through. You can also follow us on Threads, Blue Sky, or YouTube, where we're under the same names. You can check out our Ko-Fi shop, where you can buy us a cup of coffee, a dandelion wine, a fish for Kirara, or check out our merch shop that still does not have adventuring thongs, unless we get some petition going for them. All the funds from the merch shop or from donations go to paying for our editing softwares, fueling us through long research nights, and also paying for our web hosting. So we really do appreciate that if you've donated. And thank you to everyone who has bought merch or donated and bought us a cup of coffee. We got one donation that said that was to restock the Twink Tank with Diet Pepsi. So we appreciate that as well.
Thank you.
And you can feel free to rate our podcast on any podcast listening platform so other travelers know that they can find some sappy, beautiful lore conversations over in the metaverse.
Sappy.
We get sappy. Come on.
I was crying about the dog.
Once in a while.
I get sappy every day, so... Next week, we're going to be going to Sumeru to talk about our sleepy, multiple personality Layla and find out if she really did climb the wall in her sleep and let her shadow self make it over. Until then, safe journeys, travelers. We will see you next time.
Bye, dog nerds.
Bork, bork, bork.
Bork, 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 bork.